So greetings, everyone. Welcome here once more to the Science of Mind. It is the study of life, as you heard before, and the nature of the laws of thought. The very nature of the laws of thought deserves a good thinking, a good research, a good examination, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, because we cannot stop ourselves from thinking. And the nature of the laws of thought has brought us to where we are today. I don't know that anybody in this room did not think about coming here and found themselves here. Am I right? Oh, one of the first guests, right? So our topic today is one word. One word. One word speaks of the greatest, most powerful tool given to humanity. I'm talking about the most powerful word given to humanity. I'm talking about that word today. We will explore what it means and the highest use we can make of it. What if you knew one word that would allow you to allow your life to unfold just in the beautiful ways in which you wish? Would you like that?
Yes.
Only 10 people. What's the matter with the rest of you? You see, we actually live in two worlds simultaneously. We live in a world of form. That is the world of the tangible, experiential world, the world that we can smell, taste. In other words, the world we experience through our five senses. That's the outer world. And most people don't go any further than that. They live for the five senses. But there's something beyond that that's so much greater that so many people are missing. The other world is the spiritual world, the world of the unformed, the world of cause, the world of spirit, the world of the words that we speak, because the words we speak come from an invisible source. We use that to create our lives. Whether or not we choose to or are conscious of it, we are using our words to create our life. And you can only create from the source, from the creative process, through the creative process. So this is what is meant by the dual nature of oneness. There's something called oneness. That means all of us are one. There may be physical differences, but there is no separation. God created us all in His image and likeness. And if you look around, you'll see how many images God has just in this one room. You see, multiplicity comes out of unity. The majority always shows up from the minority. But the one created all out of itself. That's magic. That's not real magic, but it looks like magic. Anyway, we are one because we have one creator. We have one spirit that we share. We have one destination that we are headed to. Whether or not you are prepared for that, you're heading there. You're heading there. But life here is about enjoying this part of the journey and making it so grand that we can't wait to get to the second part of our journey. The dual nature of oneness. That means we live in a world of the tangible, experiential. We live in a world of the spirit where it is not tangible. It's in the invisible realm. It is the unformed substance waiting to take form according to our words. The driving power is the same in each case, whether it is physical or mental. There's one power driving those two forces, those two areas of our life. Dr. Holmes, who's the founder of religious science and the author of The Science of Mind, he said we should think of the divine being as such, as completely responsive to everything that we do, there should come to us a sense of communion, spontaneous sense of irresistible union. If we had this, we could demonstrate instantaneously. They find out on page 362 of The Science of Mind. He says if we had that, we'd be able to demonstrate right away, instantaneously. How many of you wish to have something better than you now have? I'm in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. In different parts of the river, but we're in the same boat. So there is something we need to know about ourselves that will allow us to bring into our now experience, our experience of the physical and the visible and the tangible, an experience so large, so wonderful, so beautiful, so fulfilling, that we become a blessing to anyone in our presence. It's okay to feel good about yourself, but until that goodness about yourself helps someone else to feel good about themselves, you really haven't hit the joy part yet. You really haven't hit the happy part yet. You cannot be happy all by yourself. Bradshaw said, we were born of two. We were born of two. We can't be born of one. And because we were born of two, we need each other. And in needing each other, we bless each other, we either lift up each other or we bring down each other. What would you like to do best? What would you like to do the most? Lift up, exactly. I'm going to give you some thought, something to think about today then about that. Emerson said, every man is a doorway to the infinite. Think of yourself. I mean, he's not talking about the gender, man. He's talking about man as humanity, generic man. Every man is a doorway to the infinite. What does that suggest? It suggests that there is one infinite presence, and each of us is a doorway for that infinite presence to be revealed. In other words, when you wake up in the morning and you step out of bed, you're opening the door so that the world outside of you can begin to experience the joy and love that you have inside of you, or the despair, the fear, the hate, the unhappiness, the sense of lack, the lack of joy, the loneliness, and on and on and on and on. We are the doorway to the infinite, and we open that door not only to see ourselves as a blessing, but to see ourselves as a blessing to everyone else around us. And too many times, we are not that. And I'm speaking from personal experience. There was a time when people didn't want to sit next to me. And now, they introduce me and say, the wonderful Reverend Patrick. How did that ever happen? But there. The invisible side of life is like an instrument waiting to be used or waiting to be played. That instrument, it's not just you. It's what's inside of you. It's how you begin to think about yourself. It's how you see yourself in relationship to everyone else and the universe. This is called a personal cosmology. You develop a personal sense of who you are in relation to everyone else and in relationship to the universe. What's your cosmology saying to you? Do you think everybody else is kind of should be pushed away or should be embraced? Or are you an extremist? Or are you walking around afraid or walking around thinking of how you might be a blessing? You know, Dr. Holmes says that if we spiritualize every moment, that's practicing the presence. We practice the presence by walking in the consciousness of the presence. walking consciously that the presence is with you. The invisible, as I said, is like this instrument waiting to be played. You know, what good is a piano if it's sitting there and you can't play it? It's in your house, it's taking up space. You could put some flowers there and probably feel happier about that space. But if you can play it, the music can not only uplift you, but anyone who is hearing it is going to gather around the window. Say, that's great music. You know, Susan and her wonderful friend here, where is he? Mara, stepped outside. The two of them come up with music every week. And what do? We feel blessed by it. We clap. This morning, some of us yelled. We're here to bless not only ourselves, but everyone else around us. The music is just waiting to come out of this instrument. And I'm not talking necessarily about music as you heard it today. Music is how you live according to the rhythm inside of you. That's the music that you respond to. Your life is one big song of God. Your life is the song of God. Are you playing that song? Are you letting it be heard? Are you feeling the beauty of the music vibrating through every breath you take? Every time your body expands and contracts? Is it doing that to the rhythm of life or the rhythm of some fear or doubt or uncertainty? How are you being with you? On the invisible side, I was talking about the tangible side, the invisible side of life, the answer has already been created. On the invisible side, every possible answer that we are seeking is already recorded. Do you believe that? Yes. At least 5 people on this side said yes. On this side. The truth is, every possible answer that we are seeking, every question we could conjure up, the answer to that is already given. And it's in the Bible, it says, before they call, I will answer. If the answer is already there, why are we so worried that we don't know how? Well, I'll give you some information. How is none of your business. You only want to know what. How is the divine mind's business. God knows how to work out. You see, God already, every question that you ask has an answer, and the answer is self-fulfilling. So that's the how. As soon as you get the answer, you have already gotten the how within the answer. The prayer is always in the answer to the prayer is always in the prayer. So when we get the answer, we are also getting the direction. You can't get an answer that doesn't have the direction in it. That's not an answer. That's a hope. And you know what hope? Holmes says hope is a subtle illusion. Think about that. Because when you have hope, you just have a subtle inclination as to what the answer might be. I wish I could understand this. Oh, yeah, I'm getting it, but where? And so hope has a tendency to make us become depressed in the long run. Until we work through it and become a fulfillment. It becomes a true answer, a real clear answer. Can we learn how to use this incredible power? The answer is yes. And that's what I'm here to share with you. How to use this incredible power. On the one side, we give the orders. On the other side, the orders are being fulfilled. On the spiritual plane, we give the orders. On the physical plane, the orders are answered with the directions, and they are fulfilled. Sounds real simple, doesn't it? God's calling over there. So on the one side, on the spiritual side, the side of causation, if you remember when I named on the spiritual side, we have the unformed, we have the cause, we have spirit, we have the word, we have soul. So we have, those are the energies that create for us. But we have to know how to use the creative energy, how to use the creative power, how to name what it is that we want. And I'm not here about getting things. I'm here about awakening the self. Because when you are awakened within yourself and recognize who you really are and the power that you really have and the divinity that's in you, not separate from you, you were born with it. God made you like that. And God doesn't make any junk, does he? God doesn't make any mistakes, does he? So when God created us, God made us in his image and likeness. That was not a mistake. Or else God himself, herself, is a mistake. And I can't accept that. If God made me in the image and likeness of itself, then I accept that oneness. If I reject that oneness, I am saying that I know better than God. And if I was that smart, I wouldn't be standing here today. I'd be somewhere transcended out of this, jettisoned off of this planet a long time ago. But we are working the two sides of ourselves, the one on the physical plane, the one on the spiritual plane. So we give orders to the invisible so that it might pass those orders on to the visible. And that those visible orders become manifest as experiences of love, joy, peace, happiness, abundance, unity. All those wonderful things. I'm sure that there's anybody in here who doesn't want at least one of those that I mentioned. Is it worth it? Yes. Because tomorrow, if you don't know how to do that today, tomorrow, guess what? You're going to repeat all of yesterday with a little more misery added on. With a little more fear added on. With a little more sense of lack added on. With feeling older because the burden is so heavy. And each day you get a little bit shorter. And you get shorter because it weighs you down. And the next thing you know is you're really down below the surface. Consciousness, you see, nothing happens until consciousness moves. And if I am constantly depressed because I fail to realize the divinity that exists in me as me, when I say as me, I'm talking about individuation. Individuation. You are an individuation of the divine. Anything less than that is not your truth. You're made in the image and likeness of God. That's the universal truth. And that means that you are an individuation of God. That means you are one of the one. But with the knowledge that you use, you know, it was a wise guy, yes, a few years ago when I was in a different profession. He had said, we only use 5%. A genius only uses 5% of their brain capacity. If you use more than that, then you die because you want to get out of here. Yeah. That one is time released. You'll get it. So with using 5%, I'm giving you the maximum, right? With using 5%, think of what you could have been doing and what you can do from now on. Because it's never too late to discover your power to create the life the way you want it, as long as it blesses you and everyone else around you. On the one side, as I said, the orders are given. On the other side, the orders are received. Soul or subjectivity is bound by its very nature to accept and respond to spirit. So there's spirit, there's soul. They're both one. These are two aspects of the one presence. Spirit, soul, body. Spirit gives the orders. Soul, which is the law of cause and effect, the law that causes effects to show up. Spirit tells the law what you want because you have the power to speak your word. The word becomes flesh and dwells with us. It's the same order, spirit, soul, and body. When you speak the word is the spirit speaking. The breath you use is the breath of God. So you speak your life into form. And if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, when was the last time you told yourself, boy, am I unhappy about so-and-so? What did you feel after that? Miserable. Because you just spoke that into your life. If you ever said, boy, I feel excited, I can't wait to get up in the morning. You know what happens to your whole body? It begins to become alive, and you can't sleep anymore. Who spoke that word? You did. We have the power to bring into our lives all that we desire, all the good that we desire, but we have forgotten that we were born with this. Inherent in us is the power of goodness and love and beauty and joy and happiness and abundance, all of those good things. The law only has one word. Here's the one word. Have you figured it out yet? The one word is yes! You see, the law can't say no because it has no volition. The law is the creative essence, the invisible creative essence of God. It cannot say no because it has no volition. It can only obey. It's conscious, but it's unconscious in the sense that it can't refuse. It has no choice. So it's unconscious consciousness. Everything is consciousness. Spirit is conscious consciousness because there's volition and there's choice. You have the ability to think, to change your mind. That's spirit. When you say, I want to create something, all of a sudden, if you surrender it, it's going to be done by the unconscious consciousness that knows how to do without having to try, because it is pure spirit acting at the level of creation, the level of manufacturing. It's a manufacturing plant. So when you did a prayer, or you did a spiritual mind treatment that we call prayer, a spiritual mind treatment is a scientific way in which to use the language of prayer to your belief system so that you know how to speak into the creative essence that causes a manifestation to take place. Plain and simple, right? You understand that? Good. If you don't, sign up for Foundations class. I'm getting ready to teach it in about 5 weeks or so. So the law says yes when you did that prayer, when you made that request. With all sincerity and clarity and conviction, you spoke your word, you released it to the law. The law says, yes, I will do it. And I will do it superlatively well, to the best it can be possibly made. That's the power you are working with. So we have to wait sometimes when we do a prayer. We have to wait sometimes before it shows up. We become impatient, we become doubtful, and we cancel out the energy of creation that we first offered the law to do. What the waiting is asking is the time we need to believe deeper. Sometimes we have to wait. The time we are ready to receive, we have to wait. Some things require an evolutionary process in order to mature in your life. If you try to have a forced demonstration, you get a false sense of security. It's like having a premature that's too pre to live. Exactly. So as soon as we believe, it's done unto us. The answer is already there, because the big word yes agreed with your request right away. You see, the law cannot reject, it cannot turn away your request. This is the wonderful thing about this spiritual philosophy. It helps us to understand that we can speak our word into flesh, into an experience in our lives. And not only does it point that out, it points out, helps us to do it in the best of ways, in the most powerful way, in a way that allows us to experience the goodness of life. When we have to wait, we are called upon to open up our understanding and our readiness. And as soon as we believe, it is done unto us. The nature of nature is to love. The character of nature is to love. The essence of nature is to love. That's how we are made. Do you know how wonderful you feel when you are in love? Why is that? Because that's the nature of love. That's the nature of nature, to love. Why do you feel miserable when things are wrong? Because that's contrary to your nature. When you do good, you're happy. When you don't do good, you're not happy. Because it's contrary to your nature. Either it is in alignment with it or it's not. And when it's not, it's contrary, and it's contrary because it doesn't line up to the goodness and joy of life. It is designed and engineered to give. That's what nature is. Nature is engineered and designed to give. It's a giving thing. Giving is the nature of the law. I'm talking about the spiritual law that says yes to you every time you make a request. It's a responsive mechanism, spiritual mechanism, if you will. So when a gardener plants the garden, puts the seed down into the ground, that is a metaphor for, the seed is a metaphor for the word, the ground is a metaphor for the law, and the gardener surrenders it to the law because he or she plants it, covers it up, and walks away. Doesn't stand there for the rest of his life and wait and see, well, when is this tall tree going to grow? In the meantime, die of starvation and rot. No. Some people try that, and you could see the difference. But the thing is, you plant the seed, you give it to the soil, it says, yes, I receive you, and you walk away. But you know you've planted a seed. You know if it needs water, to water it. You know if it needs to be cleared of any weeds of doubts and fears and anxiety and hopeful and wishing and all of that. Weeds, you pull those weeds out and you continue to water and clear the ground so that this thing could come up in its fullness of beauty and manifest and bless your life. We have that power to do that. The language of the law is, yes, I'm going to make it happen for you. Go to bed, sleep tonight, don't worry about it. Leave it alone. I'm the soil, I know how to do this. I can make this happen. Some people never wake up to the truth about their own being because of fear and doubt. An evolved soul is always a worshiper of God. Now he defines what worship means. He worships God in everything, for God is in everything. God not only is in everything, but God is more than everything he is in. Ye are the light of the world. That is God in us. All that we are is God, yet God is more than all that we are. The nearer consciousness comes to this truth, the more cosmic sweep it has, the more power it has. The realization of God is personal to all who are receptive to the divine influx. It enables one to communicate with the Spirit, receiving a direct answer from it. This is what Jesus did. He was able to get a direct communication with God. You have that same power. Jesus said to himself, greater things than these you shall do. You are my brothers. I go to my God, your God, my Father, your Father. We are one. You can do this, he said. He knew how to use the one-word law that always says yes to him. There wasn't a time when the word said no. The word does not know. The law does not know a no. That's K-N-O-W-N-O. Just in case. Always the word is yes. I will do as you ask. That's the most powerful word that you can use to change your life now. Understanding that you have a law that you can use to bring the joy, love, peace, happiness, and fulfillment in your life. The realization of God. Personalize it. When you walk out of here, know that you're walking because of the energy of life in you that causes you to put one foot in front of the other. That's the divine energy that caused you to come into life. That's the thing that made you a living being. That's the thing that says, I can think, I can create, I can love, I can have joy, I can have life abundant, more abundantly. You can live that way starting now, starting today. On page 362, it says, we should think of the divine being as such, as completely responsive to everything we do. It's completely responsive to everything we do. There should come to us a sense of communion. In other words, he's saying, let us feel a sense of communion, a sense of oneness, a sense of sharing, a sense of knowing that this one is present in you. There should come a sense of communion, a spontaneous sense of an irresistible union. If we had this, we would demonstrate instantaneously. I asked it earlier. If you could demonstrate instantaneously, would you like that? And 10 hands went up. I asked the question again. How many of you would like to demonstrate instantaneously? Yes. So what I want you to do is look into your program right now and find the affirmation that we said together. And I want us to read this aloud again together. Okay? Found it? All right, let's begin. Today I turn within to the sacred chamber of my life essence, where the source of all knowledge, all wisdom, and all power exists. And so I let it be, and so it is. Do you believe that?
Yes.
I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
If you believe it, take it and use it. If you have trouble believing this, take it with you and say it again tonight. Say it again tomorrow morning. Say it until you convince yourself of the truth of who you really are, and that you truly can speak your word into your life experience. That's becoming conscious that you're doing it. That's spiritualizing the moment. If you do it unconsciously, you're just back in the old habit of not knowing who you are and the connection that you have.